back to the channel, guys. Y'all recognize this key? These are the keys to Pacifica. That's right, it's Pacifica right here, guys. This happens to be a 2017 Pacifica. All right, now the reason they in, let's get this started, is this right here. Yes, check engine light. Now, a lot of guys, because I don't, you probably won't see a lot of Pacifica videos on my channel. You know why, guys? Simply because they're not breaking. That's right, guys, they're not breaking. No matter what you hear, no matter how much bad press the 3.6 Pentastar have, this particular 3.6 happens to be the Generation 3 Pentastar engine, okay? The valve train system has totally been redesigned. All right, so man, I have yet to go into one. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say none of them breaks, okay, because that is not true. It's just that I haven't personally worked on one. I saw a guy in the shop last week. He had the valve covers off. I'm not sure what he was doing. I wanted to go over there and ask him what was he doing, what was the problem, but he had the valve cover on the right side tore apart. To do something, I should have went over there and you know, got into his business, but I didn't. But this was in, guys, for a check engine light. Now, even that, okay, that's check engine lights can come on for a number of reasons, like, guys. Some of the pettiest things can turn on a check engine light, and I shouldn't say petty because that will insinuate that I am belittling the emission system, the check engine light system, the emission system, okay? If it's a P code, it's likely emission system, all right? Anything that will affect emission likely will turn on a check engine light. So I don't know why it's on until I go and hook up my scan tool. So right now, but again, guys, it's not in for ticking noise. A lot of guys held off buying one because of that bad press that the Generation 1 Pentastar engine put off. Okay, but that is not the case. So I am going to go inside the shop and we're going to see if I can get in here, guys. We're going to scan this thing and see exactly why this check engine light on. I think they was trying to get emissions. And as you know, guys, you will not pass emissions with your check engine light on. I don't know why guys even go into the emission station with a check engine light on, trying to get any emissions. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. As soon as the emission tester guy turn your key on or start the car and see the check engine light, some cases he will proceed with the test, knowing well you're not gonna pass, but he has to lock down that revenue, lock down that money, have put it on lockdown. I mean, he go through with the test and essentially fail you because you're check engine light on. All right, I don't know whether to talk bad about a guy that do that or not. I mean, depends on his business model. I don't know, but I am inside the shop, guys. I'm gonna grab my scan tool. We're gonna go further with this diagnosis. Might be something simple, could be something hard. I don't know. Let's get with it, guys. Stay tuned. I'm gonna go to ad break. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Alrighty, guys. Let's go here to the computer. As you can see, there are several fault codes. Let's go. We're concerned with all of them, but what I want to look at first is the PCM. And as you can see, the fault code is P018C, which stands for fuel pressure sensor circuit low. That could very well easily be a fuel rail pressure sensor. In fact, let's go over to some of the diagnosis and see what it says, what it's talking about. I have these capabilities, guys, scan tool I use here. Okay, there's a diagram of the complete system. Basically, guys, Chrysler is now monitoring fuel pressure, which is a good thing. Should make it easy for diagnosis. Okay, the PCM provides a 5-volt voltage supply to the sensor. The PCM also provides a ground. All right, the fuel pressure sends a signal to the PCM to the fuel pressure sensor. This sensor signal voltage changes based on the pressure in the fuel rail. The PCM will detect the low signal voltage at low rail pressure, okay, and then the PCM will detect the highest all of it's based off the pressure, okay guys. So basically, let's stroll down to possible causes. This is where everybody tend to go when they're looking at stuff like this. It could be a wiring issue, of course, because it's electrical. It could be simple fuel rail pressure sensor, or it could be a PCM. That should be your last option. I'm so glad they put that at the bottom, guys, because a lot of guys will jump into that first. All right, so tell you what, guys, let's go over to the car and let's talk some more about this sensor. Hang tight, don't go anywhere. All right, guys, we are now at the car. Like I say, this is a 3.6 generation 3. Absolutely no ticking whatsoever. I have yet to tear inside of one of these. Okay, so we're talking about a fuel pressure sensor. Now, like I was saying earlier, Chrysler has finally started monitoring fuel pressure. For a while, guys, that was off limit. Okay, they deemed it a risk factor. Okay, it was too risky to put a sensor into the fuel rail, all right, to monitor fuel pressure electronically. All right, that was a risky issue back in the day, guys. Just say, for instance, it could cause a leak. Okay, and y'all know what happens when fuel leaks. It becomes extremely dangerous. Okay, that fuel could easily leak on the exhaust or the intake and cause a fire. So it was extremely risky. Now, they still not putting it directly on the fuel rail. In fact, here's the sensor. Here's the sensor right here, guys. Fuel pressure sensor. Okay, now of course it's going to a rail, and this is plastic. But instead of putting it near or close to the actual rail, they give you a plastic tube that travels through here, and all the way up here. So this is the sensor in question. Okay, I am just so glad they finally given the technician a way of monitoring fuel pressure electronically. Okay, that helps with diagnosis, guys. I mean, it's nothing like hooking up a fuel pressure gauge, riding around in a car to tell if the fuel pressure dropped. Now you can simply view this data on a scan tube. Okay, so if you're riding around in the car and your fuel pressure data shows 20 psi and your car start to chuckle and die out, you can pretty much start your testing from there. You will start testing the fuel delivery system. Okay, at that point you'll be looking at things like the fuel pump, the fuel filter. Well, actually the filter is built onto the pump, but that it will give you a place to start. Okay, a lot of guys were throwing parts at cars because they didn't know, you know, what could cause that. There was no, you would get things like plus 20 in adaptive memory. Anything on the high plus side is pretty much a indication that you're starving for fuel. You're running lean. Okay, in fact, I used to use that way of diagnosis to diagnose my fuel pumps, because fuel pumps would give you no warning. They'll just slowly start dying out. Well, I guess that is the warning, and eventually the car would die out as the fuel pressure drops. Okay, I would always go to my scan tool and look at adaptive memory, and if I was high on the plus side, that led me to the fuel delivery system. That's where I always start my diagnosis. Okay, now guys, I'm gonna go right up. I pretty much gonna have to replace this. I see these laying around, so a lot of guys, and that's not what you should base your diagnosis on. This is pretty much, unless you suspect the wiring, unless you suspect wirings fail, pretty much this sensor gonna need replaced. All right, so I'm gonna go right up an estimate on the fuel pressure sensor, and because this has 60,000 miles almost, I'm gonna recommend a tune-up, throttle body cleaner, air filter. I'm gonna check all of that, recommend all that stuff, guys. While she in here, sometimes it's best to go ahead and recommend the stuff while she in. So at the same time I replace the fuel rail, the fuel sensor, I can go ahead and do spark plugs. And it's a funky way to remove this intake, guys. If they've divided a tune-up, I will show you how this intake is removed. In fact, I may have to, if I can't reach that clamp down there that holds this sensor, I may have to remove it anyway. at least the upper intake. Okay, that's the only way you're gonna get cylinders 2, 4, and 6 is the plenum has to come off. All right, guys. So let me go to the parts counter, write up this estimate, and we're gonna complete this diagnostic and this job. All right, stay tuned. Let me go to another ad break. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. All right, guys, here we go. Thanks for staying with me, by the way. Thanks for staying tuned. Here is my fuel pressure sensor. All right, like I say, it just simply bolts in. No big deal. They even give us an easy way to diagnosis. Okay, circuit low. If you got circuit high, you should start looking for open ground circuits, but this one was practically circuit low. So replacing this is pretty straightforward. What else did I get? They bought the throttle body clean, so I'm gonna clean the intake system and the throttle body out. Spark plug, so we were able to get the tune up. Okay. What else in this box? Some injector cleaner, throttle body cleaner. So we're gonna do it's a 6-cylinder, so hopefully there's 2 more. It is 2 more spark plugs at the bottom. Here they are. So guys, we're gonna do a 6-cylinder tune up on this thing. I even got some gaskets to go on the intake manifold. So what I'm gonna do is end up doing a tune up, injector flush, and replacing this rail, guys. Okay, so this is all pretty straightforward, guys. Besides, I'm running out of memory on my camera. So I'm gonna grab a couple of tools, and I gotta knock this job out fairly quick. I think she's up there waiting, so I don't want to spend a lot of time. Now, we all know the tune-up is pretty straightforward, but y'all know how I feel about tune-ups. You don't have a drivability problem, so I'm just selling the tune-up for scheduled maintenance, time interval. All right. So, and in fact, she mentioned this, so don't get me wrong, we didn't have to pull it out of her. She's like, can you go ahead and do the tune-up while you there? I said, sure. And why don't we go ahead and clean the throttle body? So there was no major sales pitch at all. In fact, if you look at the scheduled maintenance, is she due for a tune-up? It doesn't matter. She really wanted one. Some people just give them a peace of mind, guys. So guys, I got a lot of work to do, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking. I don't want them to see me over here with my camera in my hand. So stay tuned, guys. I really appreciate y'all watching. I'm not sure what you got out of this. I hope every video I upload, I want to make sure you get something out of it. So I guess we did go through the diagnostic procedure. I showed you, a scan tool that the way I view scan data on the computer using my portable scan tool. But I guess you got something out of it. So it's straightforward, guys. Replacing it is straightforward. I guess one thing I want you to get out of it is knowing when to replace it, or knowing when it's so-called bad. I don't like that word, but a lot of people use that. We have a circuit low, and the electronics seem to be up to par, or the circuit seems to be complete. It's just the sensor has failed, which will cause that circuit low fault code. All right. So guys, let me end this and get to work. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next video.